Sbu, good afternoon again. I understand that you have the ANC Women's League President, Bathabile Dlamini.
Yes, that's correct, Stephen. There have been a number of ANC leaders who have come out here in support of ANC Secretary-General. And without wasting any more time, let me introduce the president of the ANC Women's League, whom we have not seen for quite a while in the public arena. Bathabile, thank you very much for your time. Can you tell us why you are here today and the significance of that?
We came here to pledge solidarity with the SG because he has not been found guilty and he remains innocent until proven guilty. South Africa is a constitutional country with human rights, and before we are members of the ANC, we are members of the society, and therefore we must also respect the supreme law of the country.
Most of the people who have gathered here around the SG are advancing the argument that they're saying that this court case is part of a political manipulation, and that he is being targeted as an individual. Do you share a similar view?
People are not going to stop saying that if the law has eyes.
Please unpack that for us.
If the same law applies differently to others, and to others it applies differently, and no one will have confidence in that justice system, and therefore it remains the responsibility of the judiciary to ensure that it restores the confidence that South African people have in it.
Much has been said and commentary has been made and criticism of the South African judiciary. Do you have faith in our legal system and in our courts?
I think I cannot promote the rejection of the judiciary, but the best judiciary is the judiciary that listens to the people. The best judiciary is the judiciary that understands that the state has three arms. It's the judiciary, the legislature.
Do we not need a judiciary that interprets the law, rather, instead of listening to the people, given the fact that people's views can go in any direction depending on what is the prevailing view at that time?
The way the law is interpreted must provide us with the same non-political judgments or decisions. Yes, I think so.
Do you believe that the ANC Secretary-General does not have a case to answer here?
The Women's League officials and the working committee has had a meeting with the 6 officials of the ANC to raise our concerns about the turmoil that is going on right now, because it's not the SG only that has challenges. There are many people that are faced by different challenges. And therefore, once we highlight the issues of the SG only, we would be following what the media is doing. The media is supposed to report correct and balanced news to us, and not uplift others and destroy others.
I assume by that you mean that as the media, they are cases we're not highlighting and that there are others that we shine the light on. I would argue that the ANC's Secretary-General, given the importance of their role in the party, that it actually goes without saying that there would be this kind of focus. But that said, which other case, maybe give me one or two examples that where you believe that we are not paying attention, the same kind of attention that we ought to be paying?
I'm not going to be specific about air cases, but we all know how serious things have been downplayed here. And we all know how the state apparatus have been used against some of us. So we do have the experience of this, and that is why we have to support those that are going through what we've been through.
Now, Ma, this today, most people were here to attend a court case. And this court case, taking away the political side of it, just the legal issues, the issues that are before a court, there is an amount of 230 million, which was paid out. We're not saying anyone is guilty or innocent, but just the basic facts. And that money was intended for the removal, the assessment and removal of asbestos roofs, and not a single one of those was removed. How does that make you feel as the leader of the ANC, given the challenges that we face in our communities, issues of corruption, but also issues of poverty?
I don't feel good about that. But secondly, let's see why that amount was paid to that company. But thirdly, there are people that have been given an opportunity to pay back the money that was overpaid to them. And then others are not given that opportunity.
I think the difference here, Ma, is that this particular company did not even do what it said it would do. That, by all accounts, is just blatant theft, wouldn't you say?
Let's follow the case and listen to facts, not a fiction, and try and draw facts out of the truth.
Now, before I let you go, Ma, the case that is before court, we've seen the SG being in court, but also we've seen, Wednesday, on Tuesday, the former president, Jacob Zuma, will be appearing in court. We've seen his stance where he has said that he's no longer willing to cooperate with the Zondo Commission because he feels targeted, and even going as far as defying the Constitutional Court. Do you think it's justified?
What would you say if someone that has sat with you, had conversations with you, says he never met you in his whole life? What
I don't think that's what Judge Zondo is saying. He's just saying, I may have met you in my official capacity, I may have known you, but we're not friends. So the argument doesn't hold. What other facts do you have?
Don't speak on his behalf.
No, it's what he said publicly. So I just want to understand where you are coming from.
But also, what is justice? What is justice?
In this instance, what would justice be in the instance of the standoff between former President Zuma and Deputy Chief Justice Zondo?
All citizens have rights. And if their rights are not taken seriously, they would raise their issues. And we all need to be balanced, because this is not going to end now and here. This is about the future of the country. No one must play into the gallery. We must all be honest and see problems where there are problems. Being highly emotional and continuing suppressing people can come up with different things. And therefore, we must try and ensure that we are meticulous in the way we do our work, all of us equally.
In this country, Ma, there is a rule of law and there is a constitution which the ANC was central in its drafting, and I'm sure some have even gone to say this is an ANC constitution. The Constitutional Court rules and directs the former president to present himself and give evidence before the Zondo Commission, and he takes a position that says he will defy that position. What is your response and what is your attitude to that?
I have said before that I don't want to speak ill of the judiciary. But if individuals feel violated, you must remember the Constitution of South Africa take us as a people, but also individuals have their own rights.
But the Constitution, Ma, is supreme,
The
not?
Constitution is supreme, but at some stage, when we see that there are violations, we must raise them as early as we can.
And then the defiance of the Constitution and the implications of that for the country, for the ANC's membership, and for the 58, 59 million South Africans?
I think our quietness as South Africans is what is going to throw us into a slippery slope, because we see things and we don't talk. And we are witnesses to that. Remember the Sasa case?
Remind me? Busasa or Sasa?
Sasa.
Okay, please remind me.
About the post office. What's happening now?
Please enlighten us, and for those, so for the benefit of our viewers.
Everyone knows what's happening about the ability of the post office to deal with grants. But no one has ever come back to say you were correct. Instead, people are whispering, which is not a good thing for the country.
Ma, we now have a standoff, a constitutional standoff. You have your skepticism. Other members of the ANC have the same skepticism. What must happen now?
I've said that the judiciary must look into itself and try and ensure that they are balanced, and they must restore the confidence we had in them. They must not take a different decision that comes from another public protector, make a judgment, and then the same decision about another public protector is rejected. They must look into all those things.
But now this decision can't be changed, though. It's a final decision of the apex court in the country.
It's a final decision.
Hence I'm saying, what do you suggest must happen and should happen at this moment, given that standoff?
It's the responsibility of the judiciary.
No, but the responsibility has shifted now to the former President Zuma in terms of what it has said.
It can't
The
be.
Constitutional Court cannot change the decision that it has made.
No, I think it can't be his responsibility. If
The ball is in his court.
If we are all serious about a constitutional country, we must all fight for the judiciary that bases its work to the Constitution and to the legislation. And that's it.
Lastly, before I let you go, Ma, do you have confidence in the leadership of President Cyril Ramaphosa?
President Cyril Ramaphosa is not leading alone.
But he is the president.
He is leading with a collective. And you cannot take an organization that believes in a collective, an organization that is in its renewal and unity and construction, an organization that believes in democratic centralism, and then say an individual cannot lead.
But people are elected as individuals, and next year there is a conference. Perhaps put differently, would you support him going forward if you had faith in his leadership?
That's not a positive question. The issue is we were all elected by one conference, and we have to work together. When we go to the NEC, we present our views, and they are brought together, and we move forward with our work. And when there are difference of opinions, that is accepted in the ANC, because there must be the battle of ideas. Otherwise, we would be an organization of hand clappers and a yes pass. But that is not what we were taught in the ANC.
Right. Thank you very much for your time and all the best for the rest of the year. That was Stephen, the president of the ANC Women's League. And I think without being explicit, and I think it's clear what her sentiments are in relation to the current court case that the ANC Secretary-General, Ace Magashule, is facing, without actually being explicit. But I think she also harbors the same view as other supporters of Ace Magashule, that this is part of a political campaign against Ace Magashule. And I think also she was quite clear in her support for the former president Jacob Zuma there, expressing a view that judges are perhaps unfair or they are being selective in their rulings. I think it was important to actually pose those questions to her to get to understand the extent and the level of that sentiment and how far it goes. And now we do know that at the leadership level of the Women's League and at the NEC level of the ANC, that this view is widely held. Stephen.
Sbu Ngalwa, thank you. Just the most extraordinary interview, actually, with Bathabile Dlamini, the leader of the ANC Women's League there. I suspect some of the quotes are likely to hang around for some time. One of them, a good judiciary is a judiciary that listens. Also, if I understood her comments correctly, defending her role in the retention of cash paymaster services to pay social grants and criticising the post office as a